That's where Howard Hughes sat.
This thing is insane. Right, have you ever seen a plane this big? You think you could fly it? I bet you could. You ever just like randomly end up in the pilot seat of the Spruce Goose? Well, that's what happened to me and Riley. And to explain how we ended up in such an odd position, we got to go back to the very unfortunate start to this morning where things did not work out as planned, and then we took a whole left turn to take this day in another direction. So yeah, here we go. So you ever go through one of those slumps where just nothing goes your way? Well, that's kind of what I'm going through right now for the last month, apparently. Riley's here, by the way. Say hi, Riley. Hi. My rollback, who knows? It's just been gone forever, and apparently it's going to stay that way. Nobody knows what's going on. So I saw a low bed trailer for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and decent price. Messaged the guy. Question number one: is this a fully operational trailer, or does it need work to get going? Because this is a trailer that has its own engine on it that runs all its own hydraulics and does all its own stuff. So, you know, that's a valid question. His response was, it's fully operational. Okay. We scheduled out a few days later, which is today, to drive over and check it out. 3-hour drive. And you know, I've got Riley, she's checking out all the tractors and machines for the next couple weeks or so. So, loaded her up in the truck. We drove over here, drove 3 hours in the truck to look at this thing. Get almost here, and he tells me, hey, can we actually do like later today or tomorrow? Because they're working on the trailer and they can't quite get it going. Question number one: is this a fully operational trailer, or does it need work to get going? There's a reason I asked that question. He said all was good to go. So now I told him, like, I'm on the way. I'm almost there. I'm coming either way. I'm not turning around now. So now 3 of them are over there still trying to figure out why this trailer doesn't work. It's clearly been sitting for a very, very long time. As I walked up to it, they finally got the engine on it running, and the hydraulic cylinders that lift the neck are just puking oil out of them like crazy, and they won't travel far enough to set the neck on the ground. So it doesn't even work. The trailer is haggard looking to begin with. The pictures were clearly from many years ago, before all the moss had grown on it and stuff like that. And yeah, nothing works. So, Rye, should we go find something fun to do since we drove all the way over here? All right.
Like a museum.
A museum? Okay, I'll look for one. So we're gonna pull out of their yard here. The trailer does not belong to these guys. Apparently, it's just the guy who owns it is keeping it in their yard. But we're gonna pull up the driveway over here and just get out of this yard and then look up a museum or something where we can fit this stupidly long truck to park and go enjoy it, because we're gonna make a good day out of this, right? Even when things don't go our way, we still make a good day out of it, right? All right. Ryan, what do you see over here?
Airplane!
An airplane on the roof?
Yeah!
How did it?
The airplane museum!
You excited? This is gonna make the day better, huh? Let's go check it out. It is not every day you see a jumbo jet on top of a building.
1/2 mile, arrive at Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum on the left.
Alright, so we are at the very windy Evergreen Air and Space Museum. So we're gonna get inside where it's a little less windy. Don't worry, that truck will shut itself off whenever it's ready, and we'll go see some cool stuff. Ready? So the coolest things about this museum is easily the most impressive vehicle I've ever seen, because in videos and picture all that, it looks huge, and then you come here in person and the Spruce Goose absolutely blows away how big you think it is from what you've seen. This thing is just an absolute monster. And they built this whole building to fit this plane. Even in this video, I guarantee you it does not look as big as it really is. Right, you want to know the best part? In a little bit, we're going to go up into the cockpit of the Spruce Goose. I got us the cockpit tour. So everybody else gets just to look at it from out here, but we get to go upside and sit in the front. You ready for that? So stay tuned. So check this out, Rye. This was somebody designed that you strap on and you pull those handles up and down and the wings flap like a bird and you could fly. This guy's ready to go with his welding gloves and everything to ride. This one right here was the very first airplane ever. I think it's a model of the very first airplane ever. But the Wright brothers made an airplane out of bicycle parts. And then they flew it for the very first time in 1903. So Rye, this plane here, the Spruce Goose, it doesn't take off from a normal runway like an airplane. It floats in the water like a boat, and then once it gets going fast enough, it lifts off the water and flies just above the water. Kind of like the boat you just rode on.
It was a flying boat.
Yeah, this is basically a big flying boat. This one takes a little bit more horsepower to fly though. I don't think this boat's gonna fly. You think you could paddle it fast enough to make it fly? No. I think if you tried really hard. Hey, what if you got in that boat and strapped on those human-powered wings over there and flapped really hard?
I am not a boat.
It's a whole lot of switches. And just look how freaking big that thing is. Like, I guarantee there's no way the video is showing how big this is. What's that? Oh, a bunch of little model planes. Oh, right, look, a Jeep. The old Willys. We've had, I think, what, 3 of these?
Yeah.
Yep. Can you remember all the colors?
Tan. I don't want that.
Actually, it was baby blue, red, and then black and red. They even got the drip trays for all the oil that leaks out of it. And what I have heard about these radial engines is when they sit, all the oil pools up in the lower cylinders and runs out the exhaust or some such thing, and that's why they leak so bad when they sit. Ooh, look at the Navy plane. What do you think? You gonna go straight to the driver's seat? You can go look. You can go look where the pilots sit. You just can't start it up and fly it, okay? So this is the plane we were just in. It's a DC-3, and this exact one is the very first plane ever delivered to United Airlines. So that right there is what started United Airlines. All right, this is how they built this plane. This is one of the wings, and there's the fuselage, there's the crane. You think you could have built this plane? No, I think you could have figured it out. You're smart.
It's too big.
Look at all those barrels of glue. How much glue do you think is in that wooden plane?
2023.
How much?
2023.
2023? I'll look that up. Check out this helicopter. Check this one out. This one's just your size.
So on your right side, there's a stick that sticks up right by you on that console. move it like this and this. There you go, now you're doing the airlock.
Look, Rye, the wings are moving when you do that.
Up there where your dad is.
Rye,
Oh, I should see you.
look at this. When you move it back and forth,
And if you go towards you in this way, it'll move and stabilize it back there behind you.
now pull it forward and backward.
There you go.
Yep. See, now the whole thing back there moves. That's how you fly the plane. You think you could fly it? Okay, take it around the block and come back when you're done, okay? So we are grabbing some lunch because we got about a half hour to kill before it's our time to go up in the cockpit of the big plane. I got me a ham sandwich. Riley's got fruit snacks, a cookie, applesauce, and some Uncrustables. And anyone who has been part of CAL FIRE or fire fighting operations on the big wildfires knows these very well and knows what a love-hate relationship these bring. So I think Riley's gonna like it because she always peels the crust off anyway, but this is just giving me flashbacks. And then when we're done with that one, we're gonna go over to the other building where, oh, yep, supposedly there is a SR-71 Blackbird. We're going to see that in person along with some spaceships. You want to see spaceships? Alright. Right, what time is it?
Big plane.
Big plane time. Let's go check it out. Go on
There
in.
used to be an airport there. It's a private airport. Go ahead and go around to the back there and watch your step. See down there? Those are 900-gallon gas tanks. This aircraft has 8 of them. If this would have been built out of aluminum, there would have been 12 of them. So almost everything you see, 95% of what you see is wood. This aircraft was built during World War II, and nothing ever this size had ever flown before. So they had, because of the war going on, they said they had to build it out of wood to prove something this size could fly. And see that hole way back there? It looks like things are going through. When this aircraft flew, there was a guy in the tail. And he was watching what the linkage was doing between what they call the rudder and the vertical stabilizer. But when he looked down, when it was in the air, he could see water. The tail section created so much lift, the fuselage tried to separate. That's the only structural problem they found with the airplane. They re-engineered that section of the aircraft, and so would fly again. If this airplane was a mock-up or a prototype, that would fly. And so, yeah, so it was never going to haul troops. So they put some things in here that wouldn't be in here normally, because in the aluminum model, those would be 2 big doors in front of you. That would be a big clamshell door so they could drive the tanks in from the dock right into the front or load the troops on. So all the equipment would actually, so none of this stuff you see here all the way back to that gentleman that was up there wouldn't be there. This would just be a flat floor to move all the tanks and equipment in.
Go ahead.
Are you a fan of unicorns? Okay.
The staircase is just your size.
This actually wasn't here when it flew. It was more ladders getting up here. This was added after flight, and it goes around an air conditioner that was only for Howard Hughes. Okay, you want to take a look down the wing? When this flew, there were 2 guys in each wing. Go ahead, go on. So you could walk all the way down to the 4th. Don't go in. You can stand there. That's fine. My grandson tried to go in when he was here last June. But there was 2 guys in each wing. They were there because there was a new linkage system for the throttles, and so they were there for making sure the engines were at the right setting. And
There's 4 engines off of each wing?
yeah. The fuel line's right here behind you. The fuel lines, there's 300 gallons in each wing. That tank behind there's 300 gallons, and there's another 300 gallon in the other wing. And they cross-fed. It served 2 engines on this side and 2 engines on this side. Therefore, if something happened, you'd only lose 4 engines, 2 on each side, instead of losing 4 engines on one side. That is, the fuel pumps below failed, you had the 300 gallons to work with.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't last a whole long time on this plane.
These engines would burn about 105 gallons an hour. And this is where the 2 wings come together. And it goes from here 160 feet out there and 160 feet the other way. And right here is where they're 11 feet thick. That's why you can stand up straight out to the 3rd engine. Everything you see from here to that graph paper are test benches. If it would have had more flights, there have been this position here is called an auxiliary engineer position, but he was monitoring a bunch of sensors were placed throughout the aircraft to see how it was performing. And then the same here is a prop. They could switch back and forth between the different props to see how they were functioning. And the same with these positions. I don't quite understand everything here, and then they also had the graph paper. It's kind of like a seismometer, or the seismic activity on an earthquake. They with different vibrations throughout the aircraft that they can analyze later. And also, because this is a prototype, it had these birch strips throughout the aircraft. They would vibrate, but if they broke, they knew right where a structural failure was.
Oh, so this is a super thin
piece of
so if there's too much movement between here,
well, it would vibrate, but if it broke,
yeah,
this plywood here is only 1/8 of an inch thick.
And that's to the outer skin?
That's the outer skin.
Wow.
The sides are 1/4 inch thick, and the hull is a 1/2 inch thick. But it's called Duraform, and there's like 9 layers in the 1/4 inch. So it's almost like the veneer they use with wood inlays that are so intricate, but there are 9 layers that they're glued together and then cured under heat and pressure. So it's extremely strong. In fact, this is probably a little thicker than the aluminum would be if they built it out of aluminum. You want to go sit in the pilot seat? You can go ahead and go up there. I just ask you don't play with it. You can touch the instruments, but don't play with them. Okay?
Go on up.
And you can go ahead and go up there too, and you can also stand up, put your head through that window, and look over the back of the aircraft.
Hop in and sit down, right?
That's where Howard Hughes sat, which is better than Marilyn Monroe in my book, but you know.
Right. Give me a smile.
You can go to the other seat too if you want. You can stand up, put your head through that window overhead, and take a look out over the back of the aircraft.
This thing is insane. Right, have you ever seen a plane this big? You think you could fly it? I bet you could.
All you do is push those things forward and pull back on the wheel there.
It'll take off eventually.
If you have enough space, time, and fuel. The engineer was monitoring. Now, it also had warnings if the fuel pump was low, or if the oil pressure was low, they get an alarm. But each vertical row is an engine. This is engine 8, that's engine 1.
So it's the same gauge across each one, just for different engines.
But it was monitoring the RPMs, the cylinder head temperature, the fuel flow, and down here, those throttle looking items, each E stands for electrical generator, and the H stands for hydraulics. So 4 engines had hydraulics, 4 now. So those again are backups in the sense he didn't need that many. He probably only needed in flight you probably would only need 2. But like if an engine was running hot or something didn't seem right, they could turn it off and help relieve the pressure from that. I don't know what their configuration would be on a long flight. And it also, I didn't bring it up, but that's a 300-gallon oil tank back there. And from this position, they had options of pumping oil. If the oil pressure was low, they could pump oil through to that engine from that tank.
Right, this is the seat you were sitting in right here. That's that seat right there.
Well, that's about everything, unless you have some good questions, which ladies normally do.
Do you have any questions about this plane?
You want to sit in the seat and we get you a picture of both of you sitting in the There's one more thing I can show you on the way out, the way the wood was laminated.
Alright, Ray, you enjoy your tour of the plane? Can you say thank you?
Thank you for coming.
Wave goodbye. Thank you. Ray, was that so cool? Now you want to go see the fastest plane ever? Okay.
I can't believe I got to go inside the windows.
You have to go inside the windows? Those windows way up there? That was pretty cool, huh? I never got to go up there before.
It was the best thing in my life.
Sitting in that plane?
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. Well, that right there makes everything worth it. So, Riley got a little space dude from the gift shop. We're gonna go put that in the truck, and then we're gonna go over to the space museum part of this.
Woohoo!
Okay, you ready to see some spaceships? They're right through that door.
This one?
Yep. I think. Oh, there's one.
Taking over the whole entire, like, museum.
Look at this thing. I don't know what it is, but it looks pretty cool.
Rocket.
Lots of rockets.
Yes. Another rocket right there.
What? Wow, this I didn't even notice that one because it's all camouflaged.
And that.
Look at the rocket engine.
I know, but look, I see.
Whoa, that one's even bigger.
But we do not intend to stay behind, and in this decade we shall make up and move ahead.
This place is crazy. Oh, this is a Titan II missile, right?
That's kind of hard to say.
Look at it, it starts way down in the ground. How far down does that go? Dang. Oh, I guess it's not a missile, it's a rocket. No. Intercontinental ballistic missile. Whatever, it's huge. Right, you're a rocket. Now you want to be an astronaut?
Yeah.
What am I? An alien?
Astronaut.
An astronaut?
Uh-huh.
Now what am I?
I don't know.
So that big helicopter, Rye, is probably called a Sea King, but I'm most likely totally wrong. And that capsule that it's carrying is where the astronauts came back down from space in. And the helicopter went and picked it up and flew them back to the shore. Is that pretty neat? Totally right. What'd you find over here? Oh, you found Apollo 11. This is what the astronauts took to the moon, right? Isn't that thing crazy looking? They rode a bowl of tinfoil all the way up there. This is how you practice hovering a helicopter. Try to keep that ball in the center. Nope, push forward. Try to keep it in the middle without touching the sides. Oh, forward, quick! Back! Right, you might be able to be a helicopter pilot. Whoa, get a little crazy there. This is how people get motion sickness. You flying a helicopter? I got it. Which one of all these helicopters is your favorite? The Riley size one?
No,
What?
that blue one.
The blue one.
No, the one that's the bald eagle.
Oh, the bald eagle one. That's a good one. You know what one's my favorite? This one here, just because it's so goofy looking. It's like a flying potato bug. Right. There's the Blackbird. Look how big it is. Right. This is the fastest plane in the world. I don't know if that's 100% true, if I'm making it up, but it sounds good, doesn't it? It's the SR-71 Blackbird, and it flies so high they had to wear spacesuits. This is a meteorite you can touch. Feel it, that came from space. Feel how heavy it is. It's really heavy, huh? Is that pretty cool? What's that?
That's way bigger than your drone.
Yeah, these are a little bigger than Daddy's drone. Especially that one right there. I like the helicopter one though. And she's off to the playground. You know, it's the most exciting part of this whole trip. Well, after some good playground time, we are back at the truck with no trailer. We're gonna start working towards home. So we're loaded back up, and in the end here, I would like to say thank you to the clown who completely misled me and had a bogus ad for a trailer that was nothing like what it showed, because it meant me and Riley got to have a really, really good day, see some cool stuff, and have some fun. Did you have fun today?
Yeah.
Totally worth it. So we are going to head for home. We're not going to get there till well after bedtime, so we'll have to get dinner somewhere along the way. There's a bed right here. You'll be okay.
No, I won't.
But we're going to get headed home. Very long day. Very, very much worth it. So say thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.